Welcome back to the fourth episode of the Stripes Report. Today, we're going to be talking about top rated on five networks, particularly diving into the NFL and all the different platforms you can stream sporting events on, and also the ever-present second screen. Later on, you'll hear from our very special guest, JJ Jones. He was a former NFL player. We're really excited to hear from him. But to start us off, we'll introduce ourselves. I'm Elizabeth.
I'm Eric.
I'm Maddie.
I'm Mara.
And I'm Sutton.
Awesome. So I'm going to start us off by asking you all a question about how the NFL kind of strategically fragments its broadcasts. Do you think that having all these different platforms to view these sporting events is frustrating, or does it help the NFL maximize the value it gets from all its viewers?
Personally, I feel like the NFL, I mean, it's really just all about entertainment today and maximizing its value as much as possible. And that's like determining what teams and are going to get the best deals with what networks and what streaming platforms, because that streaming platforms are kind of the main way people are receiving their sport media nowadays and viewing these games. And I think their main priority technically is just the money in the industry, which is so big right now. But I feel like that the consumer and the average fan is the one at the greatest disadvantage just because since there is such a wide array of platforms, the amount of money that has to be spent to watch not even just like every game, but even your just personal teams, all of their games throughout the season, you're not just getting that on one platform. You have to go out to multiple sources, and that could mean just a lot of money spending right off the bat for a consumer. And I think that it has becoming frustrating. At once, it was really cool to have it on streaming platforms. But now I feel like we've opened Pandora's box and there's no going back, and it is kind of all over the place today.
Well, I can experience the frustration with that because obviously I'm a Patriots fan and I'm living in South Carolina right now, and I have a very hard time accessing all the Patriots games unless they're playing the Falcons or the Panthers, or I don't even think I was able to view the Titans game, even though Nashville's super close by. It's because they kind of look at your geographic location and stream the games that are near there or the primetime games. I have Fubo, but and I'm still spending so much money for Fubo, but it's like I need so many different platforms to be able to watch my team. I end up watching just the most random teams to entertain myself, but it can get frustrating and especially very costly.
I also think it's frustrating that I still haven't figured out this might be stupid, but I still haven't figured out what game or what channel is which night. So like the Eagles played the Packers last night and I have one of those remotes that you can talk into and I'm like yelling at it because it won't it keeps bringing up the score, but it won't tell me what channel it's on or what streaming platform. And we have there's four people that live in my house. There's 10 different streaming channels on our TV and it's just not on there and I'm yelling at it. It's just I think it's frustrating because it's I'm not gonna go look up what channel every time my team's playing on a different day of the week. It's just there's too many.
Yeah, the NBA is like a joke right now because of it. Like, I mean, everyone just speaks fun of the NBA. It's like overall not the best league. I mean, it's just funny that like everybody makes fun of the NBA to begin with, and then they go and do this, and like I was like looking and I was like, yeah, I want to watch the Pistons play the Wizard on Peacock. Like, are we like I'm like, what are these weird games that are being shown on the most random channels? And then it's like Prime. I think Sam had talked a lot about it. He's like, oh, it's like NBA on Prime. And then I have yet to watch a game on Prime. So I have no idea how it all works.
I
I
think
just
like
like want to revert to cable at this point. Like this is
yeah.
ridiculous. This has all happened so fast and transpired in the last like 4 years, like I'd say. And like I am not one for technology to begin with. So th this is all too much for me and I'm overwhelmed. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, like a couple years ago, you could buy the NFL ticket on cable and it was like 100 something dollars, and now you need to get five different subscriptions and pay for five different platforms. I think as a fan, that's super annoying. But like for the NFL, I guess they are maximizing viewership and their profit from it. But as a fan, it is really annoying because I never know what channel my team's going to be playing on or where I can watch them at.
I just have to ask you guys if you like the Red Zone. I've gone to like downtown during Sundays just to be able to watch my team, and I find the red zone very difficult to watch as a fan. I don't, I'm not able to follow all like any team. It's just they show the highlights, and I'm just curious if that's a personal experience or if other people can relate to that.
I think that's a thing for everyone. Personally, I don't like it, and we had a whole debate about this in my sports marketing class, and about 80% of my class of like 120 people said that they also hate the red zone.
Great. It's
I
awesome.
like oh okay, if the Steelers are playing, I don't want the red zone.
Hmm.
Like if my team's playing, there's no I don't want anything to do. Like I will not be touching red zone. But the one thing I do like about red zone is I'll turn it on if the Steelers game goes to like a TV ad, which there's like 40 million in a game. So it's like
Hmm.
it's nice to like, oh, I can turn it off of the Steelers game who's in an ad and then go to red zone and not watch any ads. And then, but like the thing is, it's like it is a little complicated, but I think it's also fantasy. Like for fantasy football, I enjoy like turning it on because then I can kind of like keep track of what's going on because I mean that's like the easiest way to keep track of fantasy besides just like sitting on the your phone the whole time like refreshing, but it's like a
Do you
little
think
like
fantasy has a lot to do with all these different platforms being released?
yeah, I think fantasy football kind of started the like second screening, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Like maybe a little bit of a hot take, but I think that like fantasy football, like it's been around before like I don't know. I feel like it's been really prominent since like we were like kids. I think my dad was in a fantasy league at some point before I even had like my phone. So I think like fantasy just kind of brings this like it makes people want to check their phone all the time, which then like leads to other things. It's like, oh, like somebody just did something good in fantasy. I'm gonna go on Twitter and see what happened, or like, and it leads to that other second screening.
Eric, you're into sports betting, right?
Uh,
Can I say that?
but
I thought
kind
you talked about how you bet in class.
I
Or if
do if that
anybody does,
helps.
okay, Laura, do you like find that like because of like you wanting to like place bets on certain games, you're actively like on your phone more, like checking stats, watching other like clips or highlights or whatever while you're watching other games to see like what bets should be placed or like trying to
Yeah, I'm not like
determine.
a one of those people that just like puts in random
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
and then
yeah.
like hopefully it'll hit. I like will go into it before I do it because like I'm not gonna waste my money. And I only do it if like I'm also not like a ch like I don't like the thrill of betting. I just like it if I know I'm gonna win, which sounds bad. I guess takes away the whole purpose. But like I don't know. I feel like I do a lot of like also I have the app Reel and Reel shows you like everything at the same time. Wait, hold on. I'll go to Sunday. And it has like every game at the same time. It's like
Yeah.
end zone in an app. So that's also easier. So you can like go on and see like, okay, I think this person, this person, this person, this person's gonna win. And then you can just like do them all at the same time.
Yeah.
If
I mean, I
that
feel like betting has like extended the second screen just because people are like seeing what's popular to place on like, I don't know, Twitter or like their different betting apps and kind of using that while they're watching games or before they like prepare to watch a game and or watching multiple games at a time to like see what's the best move for them.
yeah, there's
yeah.
always ads. Like, I mean, during like we talked about on like the Sunday Night Football game with the Bills Patriots, and I kind of touched on it a little bit. There's like a FanDuel ad, and I feel like there's a FanDuel ad or a DraftKings ad for every single sporting game, which is like trying to get people to go onto those second screens. And it's like a direct implication. I think sports betting is like extremely in that now. And I think it leads to like the platforms because people like a lot of times people place like multiple parlays and they're just like you have to go to ESPN to see what's going on because you're not going to be able to watch every single game at once.
Yeah. Also, like you're constantly getting like ESPN notifications while you're watching something. Like I feel like if I'm watching a game for whatever sport, like basketball or whatever it is, like I'm constantly getting those like ESPN notifications and it's making me want to switch channels like in between games to see what's going on. So I feel like it's contributing to like also like on your primary screen, like switching throughout content.
So do you think the second screen, whether it's Twitter, Reddit, group chats, whatever you're getting your information from, do you feel like that's the main source of entertainment at this point, or do you think it's the actual broadcast?
I think it depends on what it is because like college basketball, March Madness, I
Hmm.
don't care about a lot of those teams, but I care about my bracket. Or like fantasy football again.
Mhm.
I don't. care about a lot of the teams, but I care about the players on my team. So I guess it depends on like I care about the Eagles, but I also care about Lamar Jackson because when he got hurt, my team suffered. So it definitely depends on like it's making you watch more, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I like watching Falcons fans so I can like make fun of my Falcons friends.
Me too.
So it's like that's the only time that I'm like, oh, I want to watch Falcons game, but I'm like sitting on my phone just texting them the whole time, like you guys are terrible. Like you guys suck.
Do you guys think that like different sporting entities like the NFL or the NBA or whatever it is are like using separate like pop culture and like social media trends to kind of extend to a larger audience? Like are they reaching new heights of fans like on that through that second screen variable, or do you think it's just staying within like the common pool of like their fan base?
I definitely think they are. I mean, just look at Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. I think the Chiefs have completely capitalized on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship.
Absolutely. I mean, there's young girls that are rooting for the Chiefs, and I bet a lot of them are just rooting for Taylor Swift. They don't actually care for the Chiefs game. So they're getting a totally different fan base. And it's interesting to see how, when you're watching a Chiefs game, they'll zoom in on Taylor Swift kind of frequently throughout the game. Like her face will be on TV because those people watching, it's like, oh my God, it's Taylor Swift. They don't really care for the players.
Yeah. Also, I feel
No,
like they're not getting that. Like they're not getting those fans through like their common like broadcast or like streaming, but they're getting them through like the clips that they post on Instagram after of like Taylor Swift or Travis Kelce or whoever it is. Like they're getting them through like the second like social media platform that it's being like advertised on.
Yeah.
They do it like with mascots too. The amount of Panthers, like whatever his name is, that I've watched, and also the Colts mascot, the Instagram reels, I'll go down like a rabbit hole, and I don't like either of those teams, but their mascots are really funny.
Well, I think they also bring in a lot of, not, I get, yeah, famous people to these games, and then they'll capitalize on that. For example, this Sunday, Cardi B was at the Patriots game, and I can't tell you how many times she was shown on TV. I don't know the whole lore between her and Stephon Diggs, but there's something going on there, and
She's
they,
having his
Wait,
baby.
yeah, isn't she pregnant?
Yeah.
like, I don't know how that happened. Like,
Wait, also wasn't Cardi B sitting next to like who was she sitting next to at the game? And they kept showing clips of it. It was like
Guys, I'm totally putting this picture over us talking right now.
it was like an old man.
here,
Cardi.
I'll see.
I think it was like the owner or something. Somebody was like, I can't imagine what these two are talking
Robert
about. And there
Kraft.
was like a clip of
Robert
Cardi B talking.
Kraft,
Yeah.
the
Who was
owner,
it?
the owner
Yeah,
of the
the
Yeah, the
Patriots.
owner.
owner. It was. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Wait.
somebody was
Wait,
like, I
I would
cannot imagine
love to
what
hear
these
the
two are talking about.
conversation between those two, because what does Cardi B have in common with him?
Literally nothing
Nothing.
other than Stephon Diggs, I guess. But like that part probably like I saw that clip online and like it was like it was really popular and I'm sure it made some people like tune into the game just to see like if they would show them and kind of like thought it was entertaining like as another aspect of like the agenda in the game.
No, for sure.
Yeah. And well, in 2019, there's a video of Cardi B dancing on stage with Robert Kraft. So
2019.
2019 is what it says.
So
Oh,
they go way back.
so they'll
Yeah,
be,
Friends.
apparently.
So we're in the wrong
Did
actually.
she
Yeah,
have
it was
You
another
two have a lot to
husband
talk
or
about.
something?
huh?
I thought she was with Takeoff. Or no, not
No,
him. The other
Offset.
one.
Offset.
Yeah.
You
It
guys know
was
that
in
one
Atlanta.
verse?
It was at the Super Bowl party in Atlanta, so that makes sense. But it's kind of
Eric, you
funny.
should go
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, don't
Go
you live there?
where?
to the Super Bowl party in Atlanta.
In 2019?
You should have been there.
I went to like the Super Bowl Music Fest. I saw like
Okay.
Ludacris, T.I., Little Baby,
I think I
Migos,
was
21
in sixth
Savage.
grade.
Migos. Oh, rip.
Oh, that was
Wait,
so
maybe that's
iconic.
why she was there then in 2019 because the
I
new.
think so,
Oh,
yeah.
because of
Mm-hmm.
Offset.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
but
her and
there's
Robert Kraft just hit it off.
apparently.
Maybe
Maybe he
Stefan
put
Diggs is
it.
a cover.
I was,
Yeah.
Maybe she's really there for
Yeah. Maybe
Kraft.
she's actually kicking it with Robert Kraft.
all right,
I
guys. I think this is becoming a stretch.
Sorry.
Elizabeth is like, stop talking.
Wait, another thing that I was thinking of is like how how social media like clickbaits us with like sports. Have you guys seen those? I don't remember. I was actually just looking for like whatever the Instagram account is now, and it'll be like I don't even know if I can say a lot of these. And it'll just say like a really like vulgar caption. Not vulgar, but like it'll be like pregnant. And then it'll be like the player or like Chinese or like
I've seen the ones that are like love balls, and it's
yeah, like
like
7 inches. And then it'll be like whatever grew 7 inches after their junior year of high school or whatever. And it's just like the most random captions.
But
Um,
it draws you in. You're like,
oh, I
what?
click on them every single time.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's like
pregnant.
clickbait. It's definitely clickbait. That's
a
so
lot of
funny.
the media is it's so bad now. It's actually gotten like outrageous. Like the amount
Yeah.
of times where like I see things and I'm like,
Or the fact that like it's not even just a caption anymore. It's like AI. And like people go to AI to make like these crazy things. And like half the time I'm like literally sitting there and like I'm like, I don't know what is real and what's not anymore. And it's like scary.
That's a
My
great
mom.
talking point
My mom
because
sent me the Dabo Sweeney one and was like, "There's no way he said this." I was like, "He did."
Oh my God, when they do like the like change like the what that they say.
Yeah.
Oh
Facebook is
God.
so bad for AI. It's oh my God.
there's
Not
certain
actually
things that
options,
you
but
really can't tell. You're like, is this real or is this AI? And I feel like it's only going to get worse. I mean, there's certain things where it's very obvious it's AI, but then there's certain things where you're like doing a double take, and I'm just curious how that's going to continue in the next few years.
I
kind
like
of
the
like
AI stat things that they put in games. It's like almost a second screen because it's like stuff that I would like be looking up during the game, but
Yeah,
it's also like on the actual screen. So it's kind of like a weird like combination of the two. Because like I want to know those stats, and I'd be like kind of like looking around on my phone to find something like, oh, like what's their percentage on fourth down? And it's like, but I feel like it's fun because it like combines the two almost to put it into the primary.
do you guys feel like the ever-present second screen, like accompanied by like the different platforms like you have to watch games off of and like they're not being a strict like cable channel anymore for it, like has kind of eliminated like the older fan base or made it like much more difficult for them to understand because like personally like my grandparents like don't know all these like things that they need to like get to watch all these games on and I feel like it's kind of eliminating a part of like an older generation that like may not understand like the changing environment of sport today.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think parents like having their kids helps them out, but it's the empty nesters that are they're losing that fan base because they're not checking Twitter and Instagram as much as we are, and so they don't know what Peacock is or Fubo. These are brand new platforms that haven't been around for enough time.
Yeah, my grandma used to like call our family every single Sunday and was so stressed out and confused because she didn't know how to find the Steelers game. And even when we're sitting there explaining it to her over the phone, she still can't figure it out. So,
I miss the nostalgia of like I guess this is like also second screen, but like also kind of not. Is like I miss the nostalgia of like when you wanted to watch football, you had to like sit down at a TV. Like Sunday I would like wake up, go to church, eat lunch, and then go home and watch NFL. And now it's like you can kind of watch it from wherever, and I feel like it kind of killed that nostalgia that I had right there. And then it's also like the 9:30 games now are just like I've just like taken out what like football used to be. And like it's kind of a hot take because like they're like, "Oh, we want to expand in international waters." And everyone else is like, "Well, Sundays have originally like it's always been at like 1 p.m. because of church. Like that like it was literally built around like religion, which is kind of crazy. But like it's just killed that like nostalgia and that older fans that are like, "Well, at 9:30 on a Sunday, I'm actually going to be in church. I'm not going to be sitting at home watching the game." And it's like now you got to kind of pick and choose what you want to do. And I mean, obviously now with the second screen, you can just watch it on your phone while you're at church. But I don't really think a lot of people do that because they're at church. But like, it just kind of kills that older fan nostalgia of like my childhood, I feel like.
I can't wait to see what our guest JJ Jones has to say on this changing culture of the NFL specifically. It's going to be good.
Especially with the overseas games, I feel like he would have a lot to say about them because
Yeah.
I kind of want to know what they think about them.
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. Well, I think that's a really good segue into our guest segment coming up. next. So we'll leave our discussion here and get ready to welcome JJ Jones. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Stripes Report. Our guest today is JJ Jones. JJ, do you want to tell us a little about yourself?
Yeah, so JJ Jones from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Played college football at North Carolina University. Played for the Jacksonville Jaguars for about 5 months. Currently NFL free agent. Um, Signed to play right now in the Canadian Football League.
On our last topic, we were talking about a lot of how the NFL is now spread across all these different platforms, and it can be really hard to access watching these games for like from different parts of the world unless you have all these million different subscriptions.
Mhm.
So I'm just kind of curious, as a player, do you think this enhances or kind of takes away from the fan experience? You know, if you have to go on Peacock or Amazon Prime or ESPN Plus or whatever it may be, do you think it makes the game harder to follow, or what's kind of your take on that?
No, I think it definitely makes it a little bit harder because, let's say you're like in Germany or Spain and you have to, like you said, you have to subscribe to, Peacock or Amazon, Amazon Prime. It makes things hard. And, in today's age, technology kind of runs the world. And let's say, you're a little bit older and you're not, as familiar with technology, it makes things hard for you to watch these games. But yeah, I think it is a little bit harder with all these streaming networks. I think if we had just one streaming network or maybe two, it'd be a lot easier. I know they're having a little debacle right now with YouTube TV, and a lot of people can't watch college football or NFL games. So it makes things a little bit harder. But yeah, I think if they had one or maybe two streaming platforms, it would make things a lot easier.
Yeah, I agree. What are your views on the red zone? We also talked about that. I'm just curious.
No, I think the red zone's perfect. I think being able to have kind of like one source of all your NFL games and NFL news and updates makes things a whole lot easier. I think it is a great network, a great subscription to have. I think the price of it might be a little bit too much, but at the end of the day, if you want to watch NFL, if you're a really avid NFL fan, it's kind of the perfect bundle and package for you.
That's a good way to put it. We were kind of disagreeing, but I like how you
Hmm.
phrased that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, a
was
lot of
saying like I
people.
was saying that I liked it for like fantasy purposes.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like it's great for that because it depends on what you want out of red zone. I was saying
Hmm.
that it's like if you want to watch your own team, you're not going to go on red zone to watch your team play. But if you just want to watch football, I feel like it's like the best way to watch it.
Yeah, it's just nonstop football to watch. I think that's a good point right there. I never thought of it like that. If you have just one team, that it really isn't it's not the best purchase to have. But like you said, if it's fantasy, if you're just a football fan, I think red zone's a good choice. But like you said, if you're a fan of one team, then it's probably not the greatest purchase to have.
Yeah.
Kind of going off of how you talked about like having a plethora of platforms involved in the NFL now, I was just wondering if having these platforms like Amazon Prime, YouTube TV, and even like different socials like TikTok and whatnot entering the mix, if the NFL's media driven kind of just media drive is going in the right direction, or do you think it has to revert back to some sense of, I don't know if the correct word is normalcy, but or do you like the way that the NFL is taking their media in?
No, I think they're doing a really good job. I think, like I said earlier, I think technology kind of runs the world right now, and then short form content. I think media teams with NFL are doing really well, in terms of keeping up with trends, posting trendy videos, trying to just, get engagement up. So I think the media landscape for the NFL is only going to continue to get better in terms of just, I guess, blending in with today's society. I think media is kind of, like I said, just runs everything now. So I think it is a really good thing. I think it's going in the right direction. Um, sometimes it gets out of hand whenever you have teams that are losing who are like 1-7, and you see them on Instagram playing duck duck goose for Instagram reel. Like no one's trying to see that when you're losing. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think it is going in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, the team that automatically comes to mind is like the LA Chargers. Their social media has been so popular. I think some news source just did a feature on the LA Chargers media team,
Hmm.
and it was really, really interesting because they're always on my For You page on TikTok. They're all
Yeah. But like I said, like they're always on your For You page. You kind of That's how you know who the Chargers are. Are you a Chargers
exactly,
fan?
yeah. No, like I'm from New
Exactly. So
Jersey.
they're doing their job correctly. That means they're doing it
Right.
very well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of.
guess going off of that. Wait, sorry,
No,
Eric.
you got it. Go for it.
Okay, going off of that, the NFL continues to dominate their ratings across multiple networks and streaming platforms. And as a player, even at UNC and for Jacksonville, how have you seen that evolve in how it connects with fans through the media?
What, just the ratings?
Like, no, like the NFL's media, like how have you seen it evolve, like with social media and everything?
Um, yeah, I think it's so more prominent nowadays. I think kind of when I was in high school, I mean, you saw teams kind of post stuff on social media, but it would be like maybe a jersey reveal or, highlights of a game. But nowadays you have, behind the scenes of practice or you go and, they're playing just random games and social media posts them. But, I think these media teams are trying to get this player to fan engagement and connection up. I think that kind of, allows these teams to grow more fans and not even just fans of like from that being that state, but like she said earlier, she saw the Chargers on TikTok and all that. She's not even a Chargers fan, so they're clearly doing the right job, and I think that's kind of like the greatest thing, and that's the newest thing about the media in NFL today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so kind of going off of those, how do you think social media has kind of changed the pressure that players feel on and off the field? I know with NIL it's even bigger now, but just kind of talk about that from like a player's perspective.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely a lot harder. I mean, if you're playing really well, you think you're on top of the world. Everyone's gonna text you. You're gonna see everything. You're gonna see your name on Twitter, Instagram. So it's always good. But then, let's say you have a bad game and then you receive, you get people trolling you and stuff like that. So it's kind of a two-way street. Whether you think you either play if you're playing good, social media is great. If you're playing bad, social media is not as well. So I think for a lot of football players who haven't grown up with social media, it makes things easier for them. So, like I say, some of the more seasoned veterans of the NFL, they might have social media, but it might not affect them as well. Versus if you have somebody, in our generation who kind of grew up with the social media aspect their whole life, sometimes the words people say, they're going to take it a little bit more deeper than somebody else. So, social media definitely can affect, somebody's, I guess, personal opinions, their personal emotions. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said earlier, social media is kind of running things, so it's kind of something that you have to, I guess, live with or just get used to.
Yeah.
I have to jump in. I haven't gone an episode without mentioning Drake Bay. I'm from Boston, massive Patriots fan. Just curious, have you heard of Drake May Lover? That
Yeah,
fan account?
yeah, yeah. I've seen it
I
on Twitter and all that stuff.
he's got every week he's getting like thousands and thousands and thousands of more followers, and I just think that's a perfect example. Drake May's killing the game. I mean, even when
Hmm.
he had an interception, a really, really bad interception last week,
Hmm.
and Drake May Lover like was like, wow, AI is getting really real these days.
Yeah, no, it's crazy how like fan accounts like that are kind of, in the limelight now and people enjoy following those accounts and see what they post. But like it's like Drake May's I think he's had that account since we were in college together. So it's just crazy to see how much, people really take it seriously. But like I've seen Drake May Lever like not sponsor, but it was featured on Sports Center one day and they featured him on those like TikTok accounts and on Twitter, and it's so crazy seeing that. It's just those troll accounts kind of. I guess like at the end of the day, it all comes back to just social media is so prevalent now.
Yeah, no, I had to give him a shout out. I mean,
Yeah, nah, for sure.
But like to Elizabeth's point, going off of that, how do you think younger players in the NFL or even college players are kind of being able to maintain this identity of both athletes and now like media brands in their sport?
It's definitely tougher, just because you're yourself as a person, like you are the brand, and like that's something that they taught us when I did my time in Jacksonville. We had a lot of rookie meetings, and like the first thing they said was, just the way you carry yourself, the way you are as a person, the way you show yourself on social media. Like you're not selling something like companies are. Like you're selling yourself. Like you are the brand, so you have to make sure your brand is clean, whether it's on the field or off the field. All the stuff you do on social media, like you have so many eyes on you. So it's like you really can't mess up because if you mess up, it's gonna be in the news.
mhm.
Unfortunately, let's say a player gets arrested for something, just being out one night, stuff like that. That's gonna be all over the news. Versus somebody a regular civilian who's not playing the NFL, it might not ever end up on the news. You might see a mugshot here and there, but it's like, stuff like that is not as, I guess, known unless you play in the NFL. So the media is always going to be around you, and you kind of just have to adjust with like just the times now.
Player that comes to mind is Antonio Brown. He used to play for the Patriots. I mean, murder's a different scale, but
Yeah,
it does happen all the time, and you don't hear about it all the time. But since he did have such a big platform now, he is all over the news, and his case is like getting moved to New York or something
yeah.
now, and it's just blasting on my social media pages. So to your point, it's interesting that these players have they're being held to such a high standard that their
Mhm.
actions off the field reflect their actions on the field and their fan base and everything.
Well, he doesn't really help himself with some of the stuff
No,
he posts at
no.
all.
I mean, he's
So
not a
it's
good
like,
person.
yeah, nah. But like you said, they had this whole, I guess, athletes in general to such a higher standard. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if y'all know. I think the NFL is probably like most watched. Is that the most watched sport in America? Anybody know that?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, regardless of like who you are, if you like if a fan of sports, like the NFL is just so known. So it's like they don't have to put your name like in a title of a news like a news clipping. It can just say NFL player arrested.
Yeah.
People that's gonna have clicks
Yeah.
just because of who you are, who you represent, and your brand.
Yeah, and speaking of, with the NFL being on top rated on 5 different networks. Sorry, I'm really sick right now. I don't usually sound like this. Um, what do you think keeps audience so locked in on the sport? Like, do you think it's the social media or do you think it's something else?
I mean the sport's fun, but I mean it's kind of sucks when you watch a game. It's like 10-7. Like that's probably wasn't a fun game to watch. But I think like you said, I think
Eagles.
social media kind of boasts like the ratings and stuff like that. So it's like whenever you have social media, like there throughout the games, like there's always gonna be posts here and there, and then they have the posts just randomly throughout the week that kind of builds the anticipation of the games. And I think it's just, I mean, that's a good question. I'll probably say the social media kind of allows people to be more interested. I know at one point in time, I think NFL Fox did like there was a specific channel where it was SpongeBob themed. So it was like SpongeBob throwing touchdown passes, the George Pickens and stuff like that. So that kind of stuff is something that kind of can engage the audience. Not necessarily like, older people might not be able to understand it, but I guess our generation, people a little bit older than us, can be like, it's not as serious, but it's still watching football and it's kind of nostalgia at the same time. So it's kind of just using this social media and finding any way to rise to the most engagement they can have.
I kind of wanted to go back to the personal branding that we were talking about because I feel like even in high school, you've always done a very good job of building your personal brand, and you started doing that whenever you were playing at Myrtle Beach. And I just was wondering like how important that was for you and how much time you put into that while playing in high school and in college and how it helped you.
No, I think it feels forever. Yeah. I think personal branding, it just like I said before, you're kind of selling yourself, and I wanted to sell them the best version of myself as I could, and I use social media to the best ability that I could. You making TikToks of just what it was like being a highly touted recruit. Just day in the life stuff like that. So kind of just using my, I guess, where I was in life and trying to just show people in the world because I know there's probably kids who want to watch, what it's like to be a recruit, what it's like to be a college football player. And I was that kid who was on YouTube watching, football day in the lives, what it's like to be a college football player. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna, try to build my brand the best way I can. And I try to always make it positive, and like social media kind of was my drive, and I enjoyed making content like that. The only thing about making social media content is that you have to be pretty good at your sport. If you suck and you're not playing well, you go hear it, and then people are like, all right, get off TikTok, go start scoring some touchdowns. And so it's like you can't be on social media as a, I guess, as a highly touted athlete and not be making plays because they're going to be like, all right, you need to take your focus off social media and start producing more on the field. But if you're a good player, people love when you make just social media posts, and people love to see who you are, especially for the NFL and for football. I think it's a lot more different than like because I went to UNC, so UNC is a basketball school, and I kind of understand that. And so everyone knows who the UNC basketball players are. They're known. And I think just in general for football, for so long, we wear a helmet, so people don't really get to understand who we are and get to see us. So we wear a helmet, we wear pads every time people see us on TV, and so I think it's just cool for football players to express themselves and show who they are because not a lot of people get to know us other than like our jersey number and what we do on the field.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a long answer. My bad.
No, that
That
was
was a
good.
really good answer. That was a really interesting point at the end that you said, like, it's different than basketball players, for example, who like
Hmm.
have kind of have face-to-face interactions on the court because
Yeah.
it's closer environment. They're not wearing
Hmm.
a helmet, but football, it's different, and media is kind of an extension for you guys to relate to fans and consumers.
Yeah,
That's
that's how we kind of relate to fans. I mean, the only times fans will see us without a helmet on might be pregame, and people might not be able to make it there, and then post game we'll have our helmet off. People might be leaving, so I guess the true time whenever we get to meet fans face to face or just engage, like I said, is with social media and building our brand.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you play with Drake May?
Yeah, that was my quarterback.
I thought you knew that. And that's why you asked.
I don't
No,
know
yeah.
why you said North Carolina University instead of University of North Carolina, and
Oh
so
yeah,
in my head
UNC.
I'm
My
like,
bad. Yeah, no, that was my quarterback for 2 years.
so
oh no, she's gonna die.
He's
I'm literally gonna
fangirling.
pass away.
Nah, yeah, Drake's my guy, man. He's probably one of the main reasons why I ended up. I was originally committed to, well, was supposed to be going to Georgia, and then Drake flipped from Alabama and went to UNC, and then a bunch of us recruits were like, Drake's probably, in our personal opinion, one of the best players in the country, and we are like, we want to play with a quarterback like that, and clearly it's worked out. So
I'm actually like, I'm fangirling so hard. Was
you
he?
might you might be Drake May lover. You might be running the account low key. It might be
No,
you.
This could be Drake
I
May
wish, I
later.
wish, I wish. I'm sorry, but just let me just tell me about him as a person.
Oh
Like,
my
I'm
God.
sorry.
Nah, he's a great dude, man. I mean, very down to earth, very humble. Um, just a great football player and a great person as well. I think what you see on social media of who he is who he is in real life. He's not too flashy. He's a guy that's out there and plays football, and I guess all the seasons I played at UNC for 4 years. I played all 4 years, and the 2 years that he was my quarterback were my best years of football I've ever had. So he was one of those players that makes everybody else around him better. And I guess because we're talking about social media, he's one of those guys who really wasn't on social media, and he really didn't have to because he kind of built his brand. But every time he used his social media, it was always for something better. He was using it for charities or donations to children's hospitals. So I think sometimes people just for me, the way I use my social media is I do stuff like that, but it's like getting to know me. For him, it's getting to know him, but he's also giving out things like that. So he's a really good person though.
My heart rate just went up like 15 beats per minute. I can't believe you know him. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's my dog.
So if you ever see him again, just let him know that I exist.
Absolutely.
It never
Absolutely.
exists.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think that's a great point to end on. Wow, you made my year.
Nah,
2024,
for sure.
2025 just ended with a bang. Holy moly. Okay.
Not even December yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, we ain't, e-
I
we
don't
ain't even
think it
got the
gets better than
Christmas.
this.
No,
We
she's
ain't,
ready to
e-
end
Graduating in
the
like 4
year.
weeks.
we ain't even got the Christmas yet.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. I'm
Oh my
blushing.
God.
All right. Well, thank you, JJ, so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And it was really great to be able to talk to you and catch up with you and all that. So,
I'm trying to find a picture of me and Drake.
Oh
I
my God.
don't know. You can't really see it for real. I don't know why. Appreciate y'all for tuning in again with the Stride Report. This is the fourth and final episode. I was your last host, JJ Jones. I want to say thank you to everybody, all the co-hosts on here who allowed me and a lot of our guests to come onto this beautiful and great podcast. Y'all have a great day.